the damage, but they might be able to make something happen really, really fast with the offensive bonus from having a priest.
I think as long as the RLD plays safe, I don't think they can lose with a priest. He's just going to fall behind and run out of mana, I think. So as long as they don't trinket anything aggressively, like Nessper's not going to trinket the entire game, I would imagine. As long as Danny doesn't get caught in a bad position, he's even running Cenarian Ward this game just to make sure that he has the most burst healing he can get. Nahj moving in here, trying to find a target, looking for Nessper. They're going to open up onto Dota in the center of the map here. I believe that he's got his pet parked behind a pillar. No, it's right beside him. He's going to portal away here with the Soul Burn, trying to cut away another clone onto Nahj out from Danny. Danny does end up getting feared here. Nahj is going to be able to connect onto Dota. The Adrenaline Rush getting popped with a poly onto Nessper, 3v1 to Dota. Danny does get out. Garrote Silence onto Dota now, but he's not taking any damage. Finally, the full kidney coming out. Gekz caught into a bash. Nessper popping his own Adrenaline Rush, putting Nahj into a gouge, waiting for that feint to fall off to put him into the full kidney shot, but he did get life gripped away and powered shield, so that setup's going to get shut down.
Yeah, absolutely. And Icicle doing a great job CCing Dannycarey, preventing that bash cyclone onto Gekz with that Deep Sheep Ring of Frost onto Dannycarey. The silence going out onto Dannycarey as well. They have a lot of pressure onto Lockout TKO right now. The full blind coming out onto Dannycarey. He does have Trinket available, but Dota's just going to pull back and resummon his Observer. Icicle blinking in though and locking him out. So right now Lockout TKO does have no pet, down to 40% HP, but Dannycarey is actually the target of choice. Having to use that Barkskin, the kidney shot, Deep Freeze coming in onto him. He's going to get away with the gateway, but now Dota's all by himself, still at 50% HP. They could do a swap onto him. Icicle taking a lot of damage, though. Gekz having a really hard time topping him off. He's not even CC'd, but it's just hard for this priest to actually heal through this damage. He has the PI up right now, running in though into that smoke bomb, trying to get the heals onto Icicle. That was a great smoke bomb by Nessper, preventing those heals from Gekz. And Gekz still hasn't topped up Icicle despite being in literally no CC.
Yeah, the power infusion getting used there. Nahj getting cloned over and over, trying to CC the buff off of him. Zelkor, the Warlock pet, is dipped to half HP just from Soul Link. Danny's going to have to heal that up, which he does. Dota might potentially portal away here when Kidney comes more off cooldown. Gekz in the Spectral Guys right now, looking for a double fear, but with no CC, and Danny's in the backline Tranquility. It looks like they may be making a swap to him, but he's already in bear form, ready to go. Nahj is going to get bashed up there, and they're not going to get their swap off successfully. Danny's just going to displace their weight, wait for his trinket to come up, and let Nessper and Dota do the dirty work.
Absolutely. The Demon Soul coming out from Dota, getting immediately kidney shot on that by Nahj. The Adrenaline Rush as well coming out from Nahj, trying to just get as much pressure as possible. Also shutting down this Demon Soul from Dota. He only has a few seconds left on that to load up everyone with dots, but he literally has no dots out right now, and they're doing an excellent job training down Dota and making it hard for him to get out damage. Nahj getting swapped to right now, the full kidney shot onto him, but Dota's still the one in trouble. The sheep onto Dannycarey, the DR sheep onto Dannycarey. Dota porting back to him. Finally, Dannycarey can load him up with some hots, but he's going to have to use that Iron Bark as Nahj is reconnecting onto him. The full kidney shot onto Dota, but there's going to be no more CC onto Dannycarey unless Gekz can push in for a Fear the Silence onto Dannycarey. Another kidney shot onto Dota. This is a Shadow Reflection from Nahj, and this RMP has all the momentum in their favor right now, and Dota is just getting trained down, having a really hard time getting out damage.
Yeah, he does have a full row of dots on Icicle right now with Haunt, but Gekz isn't in any CC. He's feathering up, looking like he's ready to move in for a Fear, potentially trying to top off Icicle before he does that. And the Penance comes in, he's going to top him off, throws the feather out, possibly looking for the full blind onto Danny, possibly a double Fear. Going to come out here. The Howl of Terror lands. Danny gets sapped out of the blind. Nessper is feared right now. Dota's completely alone. Offensive Penance, I believe, went in there as well. Dota's going to have to trinket that full kidney shot gateways to the other side of the map. Danny did pre-bear form this Deep Freeze, so he's not going to get poly, but now into the silence. Killing Spree coming out onto Dota. He's going to use his Dark Regeneration paired up with the Cenarian Ward, increasing the healing significantly. He should be able to tank out all of this damage.
Yeah, it was his regen once again. I think you mentioned that. Now Dota caught into the full kidney shot. He has no trinket available for this, but Danny has that Vigil up. His hots are going to be a little bit more powerful, but they're just getting spam dispelled at the moment from Icicle and Gekz. Gekz caught into that full blind. He's going to trinket that right away and try to keep this team aggressive on a Dota. They might smell blood in the water, but Dannycarey still has all his cooldowns ready to go. He still has Trinket, NS, really everything. The Fear coming out, though, on the Nessper as well as Lockout. They're making a swap on a Dannycarey, who did use that Barskin. He's going to get in bear form, I believe. believe he does have his gateway available, so he's going to be completely fine for now, but they were able to work through that bark skin, so if they keep making these swaps onto Dannycarey and slowly work through these cooldowns, he's actually quite a viable target for this Rogue Mage Priest.
He did pre-Iron Bark here in Bear Farm with the Cenarian Ward, expecting the damage. Gekz taking quite a bit now, caught into a kidney shot out from Nessper. He's going to get polymorphed. Dannycarey doesn't have a lot of cooldowns left. The Trinket's the only thing remaining. He preemptively lays all 3 Force of Nature Trents down to heal himself as he goes into the full stun with the Mushroom as well. But I don't think that's going to be enough healing. Killing Spree comes in. Gekz is going for the offensive penance, just smiting him over and over, standing right on top of him. Danny's going to Displacer Beast away. He managed to bait the Shadow Step with the Gateway Gap Closer. He's still going to connect though here shortly. Does Typhoon him back into a full kidney. Nessper desperately trying to peel him. Gekz is going to life grip him back on top, but he does get cloned by Danny, and Danny should recover here.
Yeah, being a little bit greedy, not using his trinket there, but it ends up paying off as he is going to get reopened up on by Nessper. But Dannycarey throwing out this trance, he does have hots on himself as well as he's in bear form, and he gets caught in another stun. He does have bark skin as well as Iron Bark and trinket available, so I think Dannycarey is going to be fine for now. Meanwhile, this RMP is rotting a little bit, but that is the full kidney shot onto Gekz. Dota getting locked out on that Fury. Actually faked that, but he is getting spam polymorphed at the moment by Icicle, just trying to prevent Dota from really peeling at all. Dannycarey's in a little bit of trouble using that bark skin at 48% HP. He's going to get behind the pillar, toss out some regrowth on himself, and he should be alright. He still has Trinket as well as Iron Bark ready to go. Evasion coming out from Nessper, trying to avoid any incoming peels. The bash coming out from Dannycarey onto Nahj, who does pop that evasion. He's running straight for Dannycarey, using that vanish, getting him into the full kidney shot. That is a killing spree out, though, coming out from Nessper onto Gekz. Gekz down to 40% HP. Dannycarey iron barking himself. He is in bear form as well as has that Cenarian ward, but he's just getting destroyed right now. Both Gekz and Dannycarey in a lot of trouble. Dannycarey also using his trinket there, so the next stun onto Dannycarey could be a nightmare for him. He has nothing left, but this RMP is on the back foot. Icicle down to 50% HP. Gekz to 70% HP. Nahj trying to reconnect onto Danny, but he's playing super safe, hiding behind the pillar in bear form. He has full hot on himself, and now Dota blowing that Dark Soul, trying to get aggressive. Gekz caught into the full kidney shot, the smoke bomb coming out from Nessper. He's in a lot of trouble. Icicle also getting rotted down at the same time, and Gekz is just having a really hard time topping himself off. The penance coming out on himself. He's trying to top himself off, but Icicle's also getting rotted down. He finally gets away. He's going to get those flash shields out on himself. Dota, such a good target now for this RMP, though. Down to 30% HP. Dannycarey has no trinket. The deep freeze coming in, the silence coming in, the smoke bomb. But Dannycarey gives him that huge heal, throws out all of his trents, and Dota's going to be able to stabilize with that.
Yeah, Gekz is doing a phenomenal job with his mana. I mean, Danny's at full mana, but at this point I would have expected Gekz to be tapped and on the ropes. He does get put into the full kidney, but a blind onto Danny, trying to pressure Dota, who's trying to fake cast the kick here. He does manage to fake it, but he gets put into a full polymorph. Switching over to Danny, he gets stunned out of form. Double Fear onto his DPS. He's taking an immense amount of damage right now at 30% HP. He has the Iron Bark overlapped on top. Isn't enough? Killing Spree comes out. 8% HP remaining. He could just go down. Gekz trying to finish him off. He line of sights at 27% HP. Typhoon's Nahj away. The Shadow Fiend is going to fade. There's no more incoming damage onto him. He just needs to stabilize his health bar and he should be okay. The full Garrote though now, and Gekz is relentless. Holy Fire Smite constantly on top of Danny right now. He life grips Icicle in to finish it. Nahj is going to leave the kidney. They need to get to him and stun him immediately before he gets himself topped off. Nahj coming in here, keeping the feint up as well. He's camping the bear form, but he's got no hots. He can't afford to dispel Nessper. If he leaves bear, he's surely going to die. Even if he doesn't, he's going to. At 20% HP, Cenarian Ward is not going to be enough. And he's going to go down. Icicle and Nahj and Gekz synergizing so well, just taking him out as a triplet?
As a triplet. There it is. At 22% dampening, Season 8 is going to take the very first map of this best of 5. Wow. Something to note is that I feel like a big reason why Gekz was able to hold on to so much mana and they survive for that long is because of the peels that's coming out from Icicle. Icicle doing a great job, just like really controlling Nessper and Dota when needed, specifically. But those setups onto Pink Ranger, or not onto Pink Rangers, excuse me, Dannycarey were lethal, man. But here we go. I'm gonna go ahead and ask this RLD what map they want next.
You get sometimes caught in this weird position as Dannycarey, or as a Resto Druid, I should say, where you're in bear form and you finally escape, and it's normally a situation you'd be able to top yourself off, but Gekz is just on top of him, spam dispelling his hots. So it's hard because normally you can get like 3 or 4 globals, get hots on yourself, re-be in bear form, and then be completely fine. But he's coming out of bear, healing himself, and then all his hots are gone, and he needs to be in bear again for the stuns, or he's just gonna die. So it's kind of a weird situation.
The life grip's really good too. It just gives his partner an extra gap closer when Danny displaces or when he gateways to get a fair distance away. And as long as Gekz is right there to grip him, then they can all be there, and that's what they need to do to take Danny down.
Yeah. That being said, with the consistent damage coming up from a UA Warlock, if this team were to survive, if Magik Men were able to continue living, I feel like this Warlock should have an advantage in a super late dampener.
It felt like he was getting shut down and maybe just not playing at 100% after like being worried or something. I don't know. I just felt like they locked him down early on in the game, and then after that they just went for Danny, and Dota never managed to recover and sort of get that sustained AoE pressure out that he needs.
Yeah, but that was only the very first game, guys, of this best of 5 series here. For the spot in the finals, 3 seconds remain until these gates open.
And it looks like for the side of the RLD, they're going to get their gateway secured defensively. Nahj's team making the move in. All players in stealth right now. Blizzard coming down, not going to clip anyone out of stealth just yet. Dota getting pulled out, actually. The Garrote silence onto him. Nessper trying to find a target. He's going to Garrote, Icicle, cheap shot Gekz. Start building up for that red buff on Gekz here. Half Terror onto Nahj. Dark Soul gets popped. Nessper gets feared. Blind onto Danny. He managed to sit the entire blind. They're actually going to swap to him. He pre-Cenarian wards the Shadow Reflection, but Nahj realizes that, immediately just backs off, says, okay, there's the cooldown, I baited out of you, and now he's into the Shadow Reflection kidney. Nahj trying to find a target here. I'm not sure who he's going to be going after. Seems like Dota for now. The Iron Bar coming up onto him with the Cenarian Ward. Dannycarry's going to displace her beast away to dodge any CC. A full kidney now onto Gekz. Nessper taking much more aggressive stance this game around.
Absolutely. Now just getting spam feared, and like you said, having a really hard time getting to the target he wants. He is on Dannycarry right now, putting him into that gouge, and it looks like he's trying to stun him out. There goes the full kidney shot onto Dannycarry. Icicle pushing in. Kind of whiffed his orb there. Unfortunately, not going to connect onto Dannycarry, but he did get that Fingers of Frost. Dannycarry having to use that Bark Skin as well as the Iron Bark on himself. He has Nature's Vigil as well as Cenarian Ward, so that's a lot of cooldowns coming out from Dannycarry at the moment. The full kidney shot on Gekz. They're trying to turn it around onto him. Icicle getting rotted down a little bit at the moment. Gekz has that shield barrier, I forget exactly what it's called, on himself, so he's going to take a little bit less damage at the moment. He's going to be able to top himself off, but Nessper just sitting on his back. But Icicle says no way and is just spamming polymorphs onto him, getting out as much peels as possible. At the same time, they're going aggressive on the lockout TKO. The fear coming out from Gekz onto Nessper, and Nessper just feared into Egypt. Hopefully he can prevent him from getting a restealth. He does. Beautifully done there, and the sap coming out from from Nahj onto Dannycarry as well. Dota's still just the target of choice, having a hard time getting out his dots, but that is the full kidney shot on the Gekz. They're trying to get out some damage onto him, but at the same time, Dota's taking a lot of damage, and Nessper's still just getting CC'd by Icicle.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like the same kind of pressure you would expect out of Dota. Nahj and Icicle are just locking him down too hard. I would assume Danny drops all of his trends, goes into bear form. He knows he's the primary kill target right now, as Dota does have his trinket and Dark Regen. He can just portal it away at any time behind the pillar. Gekz starting to get tapped on mana, but it's about the same as last game. Adrenaline Rush fading for Nessper, trying to build up any damage he can onto Gekz in the back line. Killing Spree coming out now, forcing the pain suppression. Might not be enough. Saving Grace, trying to heal himself, but he's stacking up a healing debuff every time he presses it. He actually triggered it a fear that he was getting spam feared while dying, and now he's going to get cloned at 18% HP. If they can get anything like a Garrote silence, they could finish him off right here. But Nessper gets blinded by Nahj, denying that kill opportunity out from Nessper.
Yeah, absolutely. And now Gekz is going to get away and be able to top himself off right in the nick of time as Nessper does reconnect onto him. And this RMP doesn't have nearly as much pressure this game. But as I say that, the full kidney shot onto Dannycarry in caster form, he's going to have to use that Bark Skin. Icicle's using that Calm the Storm. The Ice Nova's coming in. The red buff killing spree as well. Dannycarry stacking the Iron Bark as well as the Bark Skin, trying to tank out this damage. And he is going to survive without having to use his trinket there. But that was his Bark Skin as well as Iron Bark and an S.
Yeah, it was a lot of his cooldowns. It's like the same situation as last game where he was very greedy with his trinket the entire time, but he could get caught in a situation where advantage cheap shot into Garrote and he goes down. He gets stunned in bear form with full hots, but his team's getting CC spammed. The Cenarian Ward coming up to answer the Frozen Orb. He's trying to kite out of it desperately into a DR deep freeze now, still taking a lot of damage. Nahj gets smoke bombed on though. Nessper going for the counter kill onto Nahj. He's still in the kidney shot at 18%. He gets the cloak off, but he's redotted on the cloak. Great play from Dota to apply that. He uses the soul swap to apply dots on the cloak, and Nahj is still in trouble here. He's going to have to throw the kidney shot onto Dota, and he really wanted to put that one onto Danny.
Yeah, Nahj getting away by the skin of his teeth. He didn't have Trinket there, so that was a great swap by Nessper. Nessper has that adrenaline rush, and he is on the back of Gekz. Dota getting out those Hans onto him. Nahj doing his best to try to peel Dota from getting out as much damage as possible. Gekz throwing that fear onto Dota. He is caught into that Ring of Frost as well. He's going to Trinket that immediately and port away to help Dannycarey, who's caught into that stun. He uses his bar skin. He is in bear form. He has Gateway available to him, but he's not going to use it, and he's going to be completely fine at the moment. But Gex's mana becoming a huge issue. They're not even in dampening yet, and he's down to 15% mana, so this is a little bit different than last game, and I think this RLD is just doing a much better job of forcing Gekz to actually use his mana. But as I say that, he's sitting down for a drink right now, getting a huge drink. His team's rotting down a little bit, but he went from 10% mana to 75% mana, so beautifully done by Gekz, Nahj, and Icicle to get him that drink he needed going into dampening.
Yeah, and the full kidney comes on to Gekz into the Garrote silence, but he's recovered the mana so he can afford to heal a little bit inefficiently and play catch-up now, throwing the Penance out and the Divine Star. Going to be spamming some flash heals soon. The Paramending, a great heal to just AoE, top off his team, trying to dispel the fear there as Nahj looking to go offensive, but Dannycarey gets a re-stealth. He's going to have to find a new target. It looks like it's going to be Dota. The Garrote silence comes onto him, but that's exactly what Danny wants. He doesn't want to get swapped onto. Nessper getting blinded once again. He doesn't have his trinket. They might be able to set up on him after this. Nahj pops the evasion. He actually dodges the kidney from Nessper. Now the Iron Bark has to come out on a Nessper with the evasion as well as Nahj tries to swap over to him here. It looks like he wants to move for Danny though, just building up that red buff off Dota. Now the full kidney killing spree coming into Dota. Danny's just going to use the NS, top him off and be fine.
Yeah, Gekz using those feathers to avoid Dannycarey. He doesn't want to get caught into a bash clone. He's trying to get out heals on Icicle at the same time. Power infusion coming out from Gekz. That is his bonus healing cooldown. So he's going to be able to hopefully top off Icicles with that. And both teams are stabilized at the moment, but Nessper swapping over onto Gekz. The soul swap coming in from Dota onto Gekz. The drain life coming in as well. Gekz could be in a lot of trouble here. He fears Nessper off him. Nessper's not going to get dispelled out of that as Dannycarey is getting targeted right now. Gets caught in caster form into that kidney shot, having to use the bar skin as well as trinket. So Dannycarey now, no bar skin, no trinket available for him, as that's as well as his gateway. So that this RMP can do anything, it's going to be now. Dannycarey has no cooldowns left. Nahj right on his back, shadow stepping that Typhoon. Now Dannycarey has the Iron Bark on himself, trying still to get away, but he's down to 24% HP. Icicle on his back, throwing in the Ice Novas. He's down to 6% HP, but Icicles I don't think has any more incoming damage. Dannycarey might be able to top himself off at the moment. Dota and Nessper just preventing Nahj and Gekz from getting to him, and Dannycarey is going to be completely fine at the moment. Nahj down to 60% HP. Gekz is going to finally get out of crowd control. Dannycarey pushing in though. He could be in trouble. Gets caught into that deep freeze, and it looks like they want to swap out onto him. Icicles is on him, but Dannycarey actually bashing Nahj before he can connect onto him. So beautifully done by him.
Smoke bomb coming up, but Icicle is going to blink out of it. Unfortunately, the barrier is going to get wasted by Gekz. He's in the full Howl of Terror. Icicle has one block remaining, half blind onto Gekz. He's going to have to use that last remaining ice block. Gekz has still got a decent amount of mana right now, using the Spectral Guys to dodge the fear. Unfortunately, it was interrupted, so a bit of an overlap, but he should be able to stick on the pillar, get the Paramending AoE healing, and top his team off here. Poly's being spammed out. They seem to be going for Dota, forcing the Iron Bark out from Danny, as well as the Cenarian Ward and 3 Force of Nature Trents. Cheap shot into full fear on Nahj. Dannycarey in bear form preemptively for this full kidney, and Dota is peeling effectively with those fears onto Nahj, keeping Danny at full HP. Icicle slowly rotting. Dota trying to get the pressure rolling. Danny's going to bark skin immediately as Nahj pops that adrenaline rush, and he cloaks offensively here onto Danny. Gekz trying to finish him off as well, silencing him, but now a full kidney onto Nahj, overextending a little bit with no trinket and no feint. He could be in trouble here. Danny throws the bash onto Gekz, going for the full clone potentially here. He does land it. Unfortunately, DR, but Nahj could go down. He He's fully died. He throws the kidney onto Nessper. It's up to Dota to finish the job, but he gets locked. 10% HP remaining. Gekz power infuses to get those fast casted heals out. Killing spree coming out onto Nahj, but he's got evasion up. He does get kidneyed at the end of it on his back. He's at 19%. Gekz is keeping him alive. Full blind onto Danny. Fear onto Nessper. 35% HP remaining. He's managed to top off Nahj. Danny on the back foot has to trinket and gate away, but the killing spree comes out. He gets the pre-Iron Bark. Icicle's trying to get in here to finish the job on the kidney shot, but he did manage to line of sight. Ice Nova's finally coming in. Cenarian Ward doesn't look like it's going to be enough. He uses the Hellstone. Purges coming in here shortly from Gekz. Danny desperately trying to live at 8% HP, lining with the Stampeding Roar. A kidney onto Naj's trinket. Danny still so low into the DR. Deep Freeze feared as well. Barskin at 8%. Garrote Silence at 10%. Icicle rotting. Naj rotting. Danny still at 13%. Icicle with no blocks of fear onto Gekz. Haunt's going to connect. Dota's trying to finish off Icicle. Desperately, the pain suppression comes out, sustaining his HP for now, dampening at 25%. And Danny the Live Lord, as well as Icicle, are still alive.
Dannycarey needs to be very careful, though. He has no trinket, no bar skin available. If they can get a swap onto him, it could still be big trouble, but he is going to stabilize, throwing out those clones onto Naj. And now Icicle having to use another block. Cold Snap coming out in the nick of time, the full blind onto Gekz. Naj the target of choice. And this RLD just has all the pressure in their favor. Nessper caught into that full kidney shot. Doesn't look like they're able to make too much happen with that. Just for peels, trying to stabilize a little bit, get Gekz the time he needs to heal. But Icicle not going to have an ice block for another 3 minutes. Naj has no trinket. Gekz has no trinket. Icicle has no trinket. This RLD has everything going for them right now. Dannycarey just needs to be careful, make sure he doesn't get caught in caster form and swap to. And I think this RLD has this game in the bag.
Ooh, he vanished sap, not Danny, right when he fell out of combat there. It doesn't look like he should have fallen out of combat. He does manage to get the kidney out of the sap. They're going for the last ditch effort. Kidneys, killing spree coming out. Icicle gets locked on Frosto. He's not going to be able to finish him off. Danny gates away. Naj is in hot pursuit with that offensive Cloak of Shadows. He's got Adrenaline Rush rolling. Iron Bark roots Naj, and Icicle goes down in the meantime. Dota finally able to punish the RMP for pushing in. Magik Men tying it up 1-1.
That was amazing. Dannycarey did a great job of living there.
Yeah. Yeah, as soon as Dannycarey, like you said, did a great job of living, and right after that, it just, this RMP runs out of steam. And yeah, they're going to tie it up 1-1, Season 8 versus Magik Men. This is the semifinals of tournament number 13. So, this RMP does have map choice now. The first team that reaches...
My loading screen isn't done. Just...
Yeah, I haven't even tried to load out yet.
You want Tiger?
What's that? You want Tiger's Peak? Alright, so the map choice coming out from the RMP is going to bring it to Tiger's Peak. That was a fantastic game coming out of both of those teams. Really impressive.
Absolutely.
Alright, guys, here we go. Just another reminder, this is the semifinals. Yeah, I know. It's all good, man.
You're scaring me when you say that. Makes me sound like you're cheering. I'm like, I'm not loaded.
So, we are currently in Group G, aka the semifinals. Season 8 versus Magik Men. It's currently tied up 1-1. The team that reaches the first 3 wins will go to the finals in the winner's bracket. And if you don't know this, it's a very significant advantage, as they do get that 2-0 win advantage out of a best of 7. Now, right after this series, guys, we will jump into Group N, which is Our Monk Sucks versus For Mika. So it's going to be a TSG versus Paladin, Boomkin, Mage, or specifically a God comp. So that's all happening next, guys, but it looks like both of these teams are ready, and we're going to jump into the third map of this best of 5 series on Tiger's Peak. Here we go, guys. Alright, the queue for whatever reason didn't work. I'm just going to go ahead and press it again. Oh, still nothing. This happens every now and then. It gets a little bit buggy, but eventually it does end up working. There we go. Okay, guys, I'll see you in the next map in just a hot minute. Alright everybody, welcome to Tiger's Peak. We have RMP versus RLD, currently tied up 1-1 in the semifinals here. And here we go. Now, is Tiger's Peak really going to give either one of these teams an advantage? I don't know. I'm not very familiar with this matchup, but one thing that I can note is that when this team, Magik Men, survive long enough, you definitely can see the advantage of the consistent pressure of the Warlock coming out, but they have to go through a lot of setups to be able to get to that point. These gates are opening right away. Here we go.
A lot of those moments where they lived were like miracle moments where like one more RNG crit, one more purge, like could have taken either Danny down or Icicle down, so both teams probably going to be able to secure the game quicker this time as they're more comfortable. Dota already loading up full dots onto Icicle. Gekz putting into the full kidney shot. Nessper just soloing him behind the pillar with a shadow reflection. He's going to barrier himself through the opening pressure. Halter onto both DPS. Icicle is actually going to trinket out of that to go for some offensive pressure. He does get locked out on Frost by Dota. Gekz just getting soloed though in the background at 38% HP. Nessper doing work. Full dots get loaded up. He has to use the saving grace here. Nessper does get cheap shot into the full poly, full kidney shot onto Dota. Gekz has the time here to top himself off.
Yeah, absolutely. That is the Iron Bar coming out onto Dota at the moment, so beautifully done by Dannycarey, throwing out that pre-Iron Bark on that Deep Freeze Ring of Frost, but Dannycarey deciding to trinket anyways. He thinks Dota is in trouble, and I think he was too, so excellent job by Dannycarey seeing that. That is the red buff killing spree coming out from Nessper onto Gekz at the moment. He's still just tunneling him down on his back. Icicle trying to CC him as much as possible, throwing out those polymorphs into Nessper. Nessper actually is caught in that full polymorph, full blind onto Dannycarey though. Now Dota's in a lot of trouble. He has no hots. He ports away on top of Dannycarey. He is able to gate away, but Dannycarey now caught into that full sheep, and he's all by himself at 20% HP. Using those heals, he could be in a lot of trouble. The Dark Soul coming out. Dannycarey finally out of that CC. JK gets deep frozen, and now he's down to 15% HP, 6% HP. The Cenarian ward comes in. Is it going to be enough? Can Dannycarey somehow keep him alive? He's at 10% HP right now. There's no more CC on the Dannycarey. He's getting those hots out. All Trents are doing as much work as possible, and he's just hovering at 10% HP. That is the full fear on a Dannycarey though, but Dota ports away. He's trying to kite Nahj, get away from Icicle. Somehow he's alive still, but that's going to be it. Down to 1% HP, the full polymorph on the Dannycarey from the fear, and that was incredible.
Wow, just like you said, Supa, as these teams get more situated, you know, definitely Season 8 looking confident in that map, getting that setup kill onto Magik Men, and they are going to now lead 2-1. Season 8.
Almost a miracle.
It was almost a miracle, yeah. Season 8 now just one win away from going to the finals with that 2-0 advantage in the best of 7. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and ask this team again what map they're interested in next. Alright everybody, I did want to take just a quick minute to say thank you so much to all the donators. We did get a ridiculous amount of donations tonight, and it's been unbelievable. And also, big shout out to the 4 subscribers that we received today. Thank you guys so much for those subs. All of that does directly support us and help us continue doing what we're doing here at GCD TV. And with all of your continued support, we're going to keep going strong with these weekly tournaments. And yeah. So it looks like the next map that's going to be chosen by this RLD is actually going to be Ruins of Lordaeron. Now that's something I did not expect. Alright guys, I will see you guys in this next map here in just one hot minute. Be right back. Welcome to Ruins of Lordaeron. RMP versus RLD. This is the semifinals between these two teams. It's going to be an intense one at that as well. I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen, man. To be quite honest.
Yeah, absolutely. This RMP, just they punished Dannycarey so hard for trinketing before blind, and Dannycarey's probably going to think twice about doing that next time. It's really scary if he trinkets a polymorph, because that means the next polymorph on him is going to be followed up by a blind, and that's just a really, really long CC chain, especially when coupled with another polymorph, a triple DL polymorph, a deep freeze, and a silence, as well as like offensive dispels coming out. So Dannycarey doesn't line up his trinket with the blind, it's going to be really, really hard for him to keep his team up.
I think they went with Runes of Lordaeron so Danny could dispel Nessper if he decides to go for that all-in on Gekz. On Tiger's Peak, Gekz is just positioned behind the box, cheap shot into triple poly, and Nessper basically didn't play the game for 11 seconds right there, so this map's going to allow him to get that CC. Danny's camping in stealth. Decent opener so far, but Dota's going to get Garrote silenced on that Dark Soul. Poly onto Nessper, gets dispelled by Danny. He did launch all 3 of his Trents to heal for himself while he goes into that full blind, but they're going to swap into the Kidney. He Barkskins immediately, uses his trinket as well. The Iron Bar coming up as well. The Vanish coming out. Garrote silence. Gekz going offensive. I see nothing but smites flying into Danny. They're taking him out so quickly. Nature's Vigil NS with the Cenarian Ward just rotting and crushing through it. 26% HP remaining into the Garrote silence. He gates to the center. Gets away. That's a goal. Danny's gonna live.
Yeah, Danny's going to live, but how long, though? Nahj is right on his tail, and now Dannycarey has no trinket, no barskin, no anything. The beautiful Typhoon coming out from Dannycarey, though, knocking Nahj into Egypt, and now he just can't connect, and Dannycarey will hopefully be able to get away for his sake and buy as much time as possible for when his barskin comes up next. The kidney shot coming out from Nessper onto Nahj, preventing him from getting to Dannycarey. Dannycarey's loaded himself with full hots. The full fear onto Danny, though. Now Dota's in a lot of trouble. He has no hots, down to 50% HP at the moment, popping that Dark Soul, trying to get the counter pressure of the dots out, but Dannycarey's still running. He knows he's the target of choice for this RMP. Barskin's going to be back up for him, and that's probably going to keep him alive for the next swap incoming. But I mean, the last time that RMP was able to force literally everything, every single cooldown, so who knows if Barskin's going to be enough.
He actually threw an Iron Bark onto Nessper, and Icicle just polyed him over and over with that Iron Bark, and now it's not going to be available. Nahj pulling back with Gekz. He's going to use the Vanish, looking for a target here. I would imagine Danny, but Danny's going to go to Stealth in the back line. Both players waiting to get that opener, and they're going to open onto Dota. Garrote silence him. He's trying to load up the dots. They're trying to mitigate that dot pressure as much as possible. Nessper caught into a full kidney shot without feint. The Frozen Orb out as well. Deep Freeze coming down. Killing Spree coming out onto Dota, actually. He only has 2 hots remaining. He's going to Soulburn Port. Now Nahj caught in a full kidney. Nessper dropping the smoke bomb, trying to take him out. He did pre-feint this. He's not taking that much damage. He's going to be able to get the Cloak of Shadows out of that smoke bomb. Dota taking a bit of pressure. Danny going for some clones. Going to land on a Nahj. No trinket available for 15. Nessper pressuring Gekz in the back line, though. Trying to LOS here with the Saving Grace. Icicle spamming out the polymorphs, and once again, Nessper just polyed out of line of sight. Not able to connect. Gekz having a hard time, though, as Icicle gets swapped to. Dota putting out the rot pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. Dannycarey caught into that full blind, decides not to trinket. The Deep Freeze coming in, he could only Ring of Frost, and Dota actually locked him on that, so that was well done by Dota and well done by Dannycarey being in bear form there, preventing the follow-up CC, but Dota's still in a little bit of trouble. He has that Iron Bark and Cenarian Ward. Dannycarey's pulling back to safety, trying to get the hots out onto Dota so he can't get follow-up CC'd, and a lot of pressure is coming out on this RMP, but at the same time, Dota's in a little bit of trouble. Dannycarey, though, does have his trinket, so does Nessper. If we look, Gekz does not have his trinket, and mana could be an issue for Gekz. You still have 2 minutes left till dampening, but he's caught into the full kidney shot, so I'm not even sure if we'll get there. The haunts coming in from Dota. Gekz is in a lot of trouble. The red buff killing spree, though, coming out from Nahj on the Dannycarey. Both healers in a lot of trouble at the moment. Dannycarey using that Barskin isn't bear form, throws that NS on himself as well as the Cenarian Ward. He does have Gateway available to him if he does need to use it. Pain Step coming out from Gekz at the moment, who is the one in trouble. Dannycarey sort of stabilizing himself at the moment. The full clone onto Gekz, preventing that Pain Step. Really, Icicle getting rotted down, Nahj getting rotted down. The full bash onto Gekz. Nessper trying to reconnect onto him right now, but he's stuck in that Nova. The Dota getting gouged up by Nahj. Now the clone onto Icicle, preventing any incoming peels. And this RLD has so much pressure at the moment. This is a nightmare for Gekz to deal with, but he's going to be able to get those penances off. And now Dota's the one in trouble, down to 50% HP, receiving that Iron Bark and Cenarian Ward from Dannycarey. Dannycarey also using that Nature's Vigil to empower his hots and give Dota the extra healing he needs to stay offensive and stay aggressive. The haunts coming in from Dota, though Gekz in a lot of trouble. A deadly throw interrupt coming in from Nessper there. The double fear, though, from Gekz onto Dota as well as Dannycarey. Dannycarey now caught into a DR polymorph. Dota down to 50% HP. If they have any follow-ups for CC for Danny, it could be trouble, but he's going to get out. He still has the Vigil up, and the full hots loaded onto Dota, who does use his heals as well. And now Gekz onto the... Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Gekz is actually first aiding himself whenever he dispels UA just to heal himself up. It's just kind of a little interesting trick he's doing. I haven't seen that in so long. Garrote comes out onto Gekz now. Full dots loaded up from Dota. He has Dark Soul for 5 seconds. Danny caught in a blind. He's going to trinket that immediately, but that's going to trigger Nahj to swap here. And Gekz caught into a kidney. He's going to trinket. Nessper using the killing spree. DR kidney onto Danny. That needed to be full. Now Gekz is in trouble. Danny has the bark skin and the Cenarian ward rolling. He's going to be all right. Gekz is still in trouble. Haunt connects. Deep freeze defensively onto Nessper. Poly onto Dota desperately. He drops the barrier, but he can't afford to stand in it. He's going to have to pull back here. He tops himself off. Dota, in the meantime, rotting down to 30% HP. Full poly onto Danny. They need to secure the kill right now, but Nahj gets gouged. Dota ports away. Gekz life grips Nahj right back onto him. Puts him into the full kidney shot, and he's going to go down. Excellent play from Gekz, predicting that portal and just standing on it to grip him right to it.
That was unbelievable. Wow. All right. Well, there we go. Let's take a quick look at that replay, guys. Looking at that life grip. I mean, Gekz, as you guys can see, is in a lot of trouble. He's struggling to heal through the crazy amount of damage that Dota and Nessper are putting on Season 8 here. But watch this. Lockout TKO taking a whole bunch of pressure, and that life grip on Nahj as he has that red buff up, and he's just going to press killing spree as soon as he gets out of that CC. And there it is. The full fear on top of it on Dannycarey, and there is a quick 3-1 for Season 8, and they are going to the finals. Boom.